out of Disneyland Resort. I gotta put this one up. No article for this one, just a screenshot. And you can see right there from Ryan Theme Park, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. 80-minute standby line, according to this. But look at that purchase price for Lightning Lane. This is a single pass experience, by the way. This is not a multi-pass. This only gets you access to Rise of the Resistance one time per person for $40. I kind of want to know from you guys, is this specific attraction worth it right here? Is $40 is a lot. Nolan, I see you raising your hand. Please, sir. What do you think about a $40 Lightning Lane single pass for Rise of the Resistance?
All right, I am probably going to be the odd man out on this panel, okay? Yeah, it is. My time's precious. I don't get a lot of it. Now, if it's only like an hour, I might suck it up and wait. But if it gets to like some of these rides, you know, in the Florida, especially during the hot seasons where it's like, okay, 2 to 3 hour wait, I would rather, you know, waive going to lunch or something like that and just pay and go up, because I don't want to wait. Because keep in mind, this is also a Disney park, so there's gonna be times you might be out in the heat or something like that. They don't usually do very well of enclosing the spaces. I would rather pay the extra money and do it. Now, this is Disney, where they price gouge you to heck and back. And this ride, I think part of the half of the fun of it is honestly the queue on it. This would have been pretty nice at the beginning. Went back, I remember originally when this came out, I had to go through the virtual queue system, which for those who don't know, you had to, you know, pull out your phone, hope there was a chance in the force that you got a chance to do it, and it was like a mess. So now I like that we've come far enough now to where it's like, hey, you fork over some money, you can skip it if you so choose. It's not something like it's forced onto you. Now, do I wish it was cheaper? Absolutely. But honestly, theoretically, if we're even talking about the philosophy of like a modern day fastpass system, not necessarily the traditional routes, but fastpass plus onwards, it seems like usually if you know it's a high enough price, you're going to get only so many people going for it. And it goes to the philosophy of, hey, you're going to have a shorter wait. I personally have been on it several times, so I don't feel the need to do it right now, but I do like the option being there.
That's great for a single person. But if you have a family of 4 or 5, are you really, honestly, from the heart, going to pay $40 a person to do that one ride? That is a lot of money for a family. Or like if you have, you know, a gathering of friends, you guys want to go as a group, that's a lot of money. That's too much money. That's ridiculous.
Family of 4, you're talking about $160 right there. I mean, that's quite a bit. Now, this is really interesting, Nolan, because I kind of appreciate your opinion right there. It's like, look, listen, if I'm only there for the one day, I've traveled all the way out to, let's say, Walt Disney World or Disneyland. Yeah, maybe it makes sense to purchase for $40. But man, MJ, you make a really compelling point. $40 per person. You have a family or multiple members, maybe even more.
I will say, I was having a solo day where I was escaping from everyone and I was by myself having a merry old time. I would pay the $40, but not a family vacation. Go ahead, Luke. Sorry.
All I was going to say, I just looked it up. The average hourly pay for an American in the United States as of October 14th, $28.16 an hour. And remember, that's before taxes being deducted. So is that hour you save worth the hour you spent at your terrible job that you hate? I don't know.
That's a very interesting point. No, please go ahead.
I mean, all money is, as they say, fungible, you know?
Sure.
I love you guys' points on this because I think that just adds to why the philosophy of the system, honestly, while I don't think any of us want to pay more money than we have to at Disney, and we've been seeing, you know, stuff charged up the wazoo, I think it shows why the system kind of works in a way, because it shows, like, especially to MJ's point there, of how, you know, sometimes you're going to opt for it, sometimes you're not. Especially, it's not economic when you have a family of 5, which shows that, hey, that means the people going for the fast lane get a better experience, and they're also not going to be heading to the normal line. Overall, at the end of the day, I think Disney gets a win on this, whether we like it or not.
They only get a win if a lot of people buy it. And my question is, are we heading for a day in the future when we're back to the ticket books?
I think we're there, Lou. I think we're there back to the ticket booths. The direct monetization of attractions, I think, is what is spurring on a lot of decision making at the Walt Disney Company right now. For example, Rivers of America. Rivers of America wasn't directly monetizable. back in the day, right? So now you bring in Lightning Lane, that paradigm shifts. Now it's like, okay, well now we have to have a Lightning Lane based attraction in that spot. This is what I think Jeff Vale, the president of Walt Disney World, was saying when he said underutilized for them because they can't directly monetize the Rivers of America. Similarly with entertainment, you can't monetize that, at least not yet. So it doesn't make sense to pour additional capital into stuff like that when you could be pouring capital into attractions that you can monetize. Very, very interesting. I also want to go ahead and point out here, this was Disneyland, not Walt Disney World. Disneyland is built up of mainly annual pass holders. I believe it's probably around 75% of any one day's makeup of guests at Disneyland that day is going to be pass holders. These are repeat visitors. Would they be inclined to spend $40 for a ride? I'm not quite sure. Walt Disney World is a different story because people are coming in from all over the country, all over the world to see those attractions, but not Disneyland. Does that shift the paradigm? Nolan, MJ, Lou, what do you think?
I think the international people are going to pay it. I don't think that your locals or your annual pass holders or your, Disney adults, I don't think they're going to pay that, but they're going to get it from the internationals. That's my opinion.
I don't.
Okay.
I just think it's insanely expensive. And I think that people get offended by that. I got to tell you something, just personal anecdotage. Okay. I get up and I'm kind of hungry and I'm thinking, I could just go for like a sub sandwich and a bag of chips. And I go on DoorDash and I go pick one of the places that I think makes pretty good sandwiches. And I start adding it up and I'm about to hit the buy button and I look and it's like $22 for a foot-long sub and a bag of potato chips. Can I afford it? Thank God, yes. Am I morally offended enough that I say stop? Usually. Back in the day at Disneyland, here's prices for 1964, okay? Adult, Big 10, which was a ticket to admission and 10 rides, $395. Junior, which is 12 to 17, $345. Child, 3 through 11, $295. The Big 15, $495, $445, and $395.
Yeah.
The general admission, $1.60, $1.20, and 60 cents. And that's what pays for the Rivers of America, ladies and gentlemen, the general admission.
And here's the other thing, too, regarding all of that. If you look and see like the price of Six Flags back in the day that Six Flags existed compared to Disneyland at the time, you'll notice like Six Flags was a little bit higher in price than Disney.
Yeah.
Why? Because Disney would charge for attractions after the fact versus Six Flags, it was all included. So it kind of makes sense.
But POP, which was Pacific Ocean Park, rebranded themselves as Pay One Price to compete with that.
Right. Exactly. And so, it makes sense back in the day to charge a little bit less up front because you're going to be charging on the back end right there.
They're not going to spend money on food and on merch and on all the other things that people do.
And now Disney's charging every which way they possibly can and exorbitant prices every which way. It's just the value, I think, is diminished right there. Nolan, I saw your hand up earlier. Please.
Yeah, that's the big difference between like a Six Flag park and this is like it's the same ordeal with Cedar Fair. You pay a flat rate to get their fast pass system. It's called different things. Like I believe at at Six Flags it's themed to the Flash, like the comic book character. Cedar Fair, it's called I don't know, I always call it fast pass. Maybe there's Disney in my blood when I don't even realize it. But you get, like Vash was saying, you get everything included. You pay the flat rate, as long as you get the like elite level or whatever it is, you pay it, you're good. You just always go the fast pass lane. I don't think we'll ever see Disney ever embracing it because I think they're going to want to keep doing this kind of practice where it's like, hey, our top ticket attractions, we want people to kind of get into it after the fact. Kind of the nickel and diamond of like a used car salesman. It's like, you don't just pay the one flat rate. It's, okay, you get this, but you can also get this. And I don't know, that's always, not to go too personal opinion with it here, that's always something that's kind of frustrated me. It's like, I don't think this practice will ever go away because they've kind of trained now their audience to be like, expect to pay little extra amounts of money during your park experience as opposed to prior. And it's gotten them a lot of success. And I would love to see them go back to more of the philosophies of the 60s, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
I agree with Nolan with the e-ticket. I was gonna bring up something because it's like you're almost like it's like a bittersweet, like you're coming in from the other side of the world, what have you, and this is like their main attraction. It's an e-ticket ride. There's no other ride like this in the world. My understanding, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm coming from like Russia or China or whatever, and I'm not going to be able to do this attraction for another decade or two, or this might be my last trip to America, I'm going to pay the $4, and I'm going to, so it's like you feel you're going to be pissed off about it, but you're going to pay it.
Yeah, that's kind of the position that they're putting you in. That's why Lou, and Nolan and everybody else has been kind of saying, "Hey, look, listen, they kind of got you. They got you in the mousetrap." Is what they have you in right there. And
if you're coming from Russia or China and you pay this, you're applying for asylum and not going home.
Never people watched, like just sat at one of the theme parks and people watched because I have.
Well,
and they look miserable.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, when it costs so much to be in there, is it really
especially with reduced hours? With reduced
Yeah.
hours, it's like my dear late dad used to sit there and watch the people on the Vegas Strip doing that death march up and down to every casino and going, "That doesn't look like fun to me. That looks like work."
Yeah.
It's like they should be whistling the theme from the bridge on the River Kwai.
Right.
It's very, very true. It's very, very true.
You're not relaxing.
I don't like this. I don't like what they're doing right here. Not enjoying this one bit right here. But this is the new reality that Disney has constructed for itself, in that you have attractions that are monetizable, and they're going to push them to the limits that they possibly can.
I wish it was to the limits. Instead, I suspect it's to infinity and beyond.
I want to go ahead and incorporate somebody in here real fast because they joined during the
Madam
segment.
Scrim has arrived.
Woo! It's Erika from Erika and Rap. Hello there.
Hi. So 41
there.
bucks a pop for this attraction, huh? For Rise of the Resistance?
Yes, $40 for Rise of Resistance. Erika, would you pay it?
I've been on it quite a bit, and we're not what you call tourists when it comes to Disney. So it's one of those attractions we can take it or leave it on a trip. I'm thinking, as you guys are pointing out, the international tourists, the ones that are, the once in a lifetimers will probably pay it. And because it's already, the information's already out there, they can budget that in ahead of time to make it fit into their family budget. But I will say, for me and Raph, I'd rather go out to eat for 80 some odd bucks for me and him
I
than
think you
ride
can
an
get a
attraction.
churro and a glass of milk for that. But it occurs to me, Vash, can you buy this at the door to the attraction, or do you have to buy it in advance?
Oh, you can buy it at the door, yeah.
Because if it was one of those days like we've seen lately and it was a walk-on, you'd feel damn foolish if you'd spent the money before you went.
Right. And that's the thing, too, is can you buy it outside of the attraction? Yes. But what they'll do is they'll be like, well, you better buy it now before it sells out. You see, and that's the FOMO kind of thing that they do right there.
I just assumed it would be in the app, and you could just do it in the app like you could.
But if you
before.
got there and found out there was no crowd,
Yes,
as there has been lately, is my point, Erika, wouldn't you really feel a jerk if you bought it in the app ahead of time? Only to find out the crowd wasn't worth doing it for.
Right. And
I see what you're saying.
We've actually covered that before with this specific attraction right here, in which they will artificially maintain a queue wait time, which is just a posted wait time, at above I think it's 40 minutes or so, and that's to elicit more lightning lane sales. It will never drop below that number. So
Do they do that just by holding them up, or do they put fewer cars on the track, or how do they do
No,
it?
it's literally just type in 40 minutes. That's what it is.
Okay.
And that may sound crazy, but we actually determined that utilizing some data from somebody who actually, that's what they do. They take in all the data from the app, all the reported wait times, and you could see there was a notch right there. It was a hard notch that couldn't ever at all be explained other than they were maintaining that wait time for a specific reason, and it's to induce lightning lane sales. So they play around with this a lot.
What you said about that technique of, hey, you better buy it now or it's going to sell out.
Yeah.
Isn't that the very kind of cheap carny and hoochie coochie show attitude that Walt was against in so-called amusement parks at the time?
Absolutely. He was against all this stuff, Lou.
Maybe they should put a pea under 3 walnut shells, and wherever it lands, that's how much you pay.
All right, going shogi for $2. For $40, are the cannons even working in Disney World yet?
I heard no. The last time looking into it, because that would have made news, and we probably would have covered it. So
they started working, and they stopped working, and now they're not working at all. So yeah.
Right. They disabled
Hey.
those very early on in the attraction's life. They do work at Disneyland, though. I can confirm.
Thank you again for the $2, but they'll probably fix them around the time they fix the Dragon and Phantasmic. Give it a little time. I'm sure it's coming. Go and Shogi again for $5. This is how we're paying for Tron Ares. You may not have seen it, but you will pay for it.
I'm telling you, this is what they do. I've told everybody this for years. When you suffer a big loss at the theater division, or I think it's theatrical, it's like entertainment, it's like sales, content licensing, and other, if you look at the earnings. Anyway, the movie division, right? If you lose big there, well, that money's got to come from somewhere, and it's usually the parks. That's
If
what
you
happens.
lose it there, we'll get it anywhere. It's up to you. Merchandise and passes.
Oh, it's so very true.
Just
right
remember,
there.
next time you go to Disney World, folks, and you fork over that $40 for Rise of Resistance, just think about the Acolyte when you're doing it. Think about how much money you're helping them with. It's great.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.